Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Awesome in Seattle podcast. This is your host, Christian Nossum of the Awesome Nossum Group at Wilson Realty Exchange. And today we are going to do something a little different. I think you're going to like it, I hope. Normally on this show, as you know, we talk about market trends, investment strategies, tips for buyers and sellers in the Seattle market, stuff like that. But today, wanted to dedicate an entire episode to something that we think is even more powerful, and that is real stories. So, because in real estate, you can sometimes feel like a little bit abstract. Like you're just talking about numbers, strategies, data, blah, blah, blah. It's all boring in my opinion. But behind every deal is an actual person or a family making a huge life decision.
Yep.
And over the years, we've all had the opportunity to help a ton of amazing clients throughout that process. Today, we thought it would be fun to share a few of those real-life success stories from clients that we've worked with. And throughout that journey, we'll explain what that looked like, how they got started, how they found their deal, how the negotiation happened, and if there were any hurdles that they had to come over or overcome in order to make it work. And I think this will really help you as a buyer or a seller or an investor understand just the real logistics of how all this comes together. So on the podcast, joining me are my two amazing co-hosts. I have to my left,
Joanna Beecher.
Woo! And to my right,
Varun Jain.
There you go. So each of them, or each of us, has a story to share. So, Joanna, let's talk about you. Why don't you kick us off?
Okay.
Who and what is your story about?
Well,
and we are going to change the names to
Yes.
protect the innocent.
yes. By innocent, I mean amazing
Exactly.
clients we work
Yeah.
with. So fake names coming in.
Fake names.
Josh and Sarah
Yeah.
are the
It's a
clients.
very typical standard generalized name.
But these are the clients that I am thinking about for my success story.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had, in my personal opinion, mostly success stories with all of my clients.
Yeah.
So I'm taking one that I think is the most recent huge standout for a reason that you'll hear in one moment. So they came to a beers and home buying class a
As
while ago.
most of our clients do.
Which was great. And they really paced themselves out with that, which was also great. Everybody has their own timeline. Big thing to remember. And the next piece, they came back to me and they were like, we're ready to go. And so they were ready to go, meaning they wanted to start their pre-underwriting process. They started that. We started doing our, furthering going down their steps. We're doing a sold search. We're talking through that. We're getting ready.
They're learning about neighborhoods.
They're learning about their
doing all the
neighborhoods through
things.
that,
Yep.
right? So they were saying to me, okay, we want to wait, knowing that we're like getting all of our pre-underwriting done. We've done the sold search. We were learning about our neighborhoods. We still want to wait until probably like the end of December to start looking. Okay, this was about November timing. So I said, okay, I'll touch base with you closer to that time. If there's anything you need, send it to me. I'll answer questions. We get to their time frame that they were looking at, and we started looking at houses. Some people speed that up, mind you.
Yeah.
They think they want to wait, but then they get really excited and they don't. But they actually stuck to their timeline, which was pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
But they had all of their ducks in a row. They were so good to go. We start touring. We go on our first tour. We hit a lot of duds. Just going to put that out there. It was like one investor house after the next. I'm saying that as a joke on one of our last podcasts. They're just houses a lot of people wouldn't want to touch. And they were sitting for quite some time.
Meaning they wouldn't want to move into in its current state.
Yeah.
They
Needed
would
a
want
lot of
to
work,
do a lot of work, and not everybody has the money to do that. So
or the time or the skill or the knowledge.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we were hitting a lot of those homes. Some of them are still on the market today.
Wow.
Anyway, so we are going through that. I actually did text Christian at one of these houses, and I said, I just sent them in. I couldn't go in. It smelled so bad.
I do remember that.
So I waited outside. Christian's like, well, that smells like money to me.
It smells like opportunity.
Either way, I didn't go in. It was gross. And I said, I really hate to end on this. While they were inside looking at this house I couldn't stand to smell, I was looking at houses nearby with their criteria. And I was like, desperate for it just to not end on a terrible note. And I did, in fact, find 2 more. One was not great. And then a last one was my real Hail Mary. And I was like, well, do you guys just want to check this one out? Okay, sure. We did see this one because it had gone off market and then had come back on. So I said, I see opportunity here if this looks good when we get there. So we made a last minute appointment. We got in, thankfully, because the person was still living there. And it was just the one. Now, granted, they didn't tell me right at that moment. They did wait a couple days, but then they were ready to write an offer. And this is where the strategy kicked in. Just because of what I knew of the market at that time and because of how long it had been sitting post coming back on the market, we went forward in a specific way. Because also seeing it, even though it was in the dark, so I couldn't see the outside, which would have made me maybe second guess a couple of things, but I'm really glad we went forward the way we did because it actually turned out really lovely. A lot of times you'll think automatically if something's been sitting on the market for a while, you want to go in really low on the price point. A lot of buyers think this anyway. I will tell you right now that is not a great strategy. That's a good way to turn people off, offend people, and automatically close down to your offer and you get rejected.
Kill the opportunity before you even get a chance.
Yeah. Yes. So the way I thought best to approach it and how I counseled Sarah and Josh.
I had to remember their fake names real quick.
I did. The way I counseled them was, hey, let's go in at list price. And then we can leave it open for negotiations because we're also going to get all of the other contingencies through, including inspection, financing, title for funsies,
and appraisal.
Nice. So basically, that is all your safety nets right there.
Yeah.
So if anything popped up that made my buyers uncomfortable, they would keep their earnest money in place and be able to back out. That's fine. So good news, we got all of those contingencies through. We got everything accepted. And in my mind, okay, this is where the fun starts for me. Because we had our inspection and guaranteed, like I thought, a lot popped up. A
lot of issues.
So, yeah, I mean, all very much, nothing totally insane.
No giant red flags, but definitely some things that needed to be dealt with.
To be fixed. And you could definitely see that when I went back in the daylight. Very different scenario. And so glad that we got everything, all of the contingencies through because we had to not only get our inspection done, but we had to get more specialists out so we could get more specific ideas of how much would these fixes cost. This is a very important part of the negotiation process. If you're actually wanting the listing agent and the seller to take you seriously when you ask for either a fix to be done or you want a seller credit from that seller for the fix. Anyway, we ended up getting all of the seller credits that we ended up asking for. We got every single one of them. And I want to say that this is like huge success story because of that.
Yeah.
I was also working with a very helpful listing agent and a very a great seller in the fact that they understood that their place was not in like the perfect condition. So anyway, we got all of that approved. We closed on time. Even everything went really well for my buyers. But I do want to say this. That credit, yes, we got that credit. But I wouldn't say that just because the same situation popped up, maybe on a different house with a different listing agent with a different type of seller, you won't always get that played right into your hand.
Yeah.
I think what happened with us was we had, they were working with an agent that had knowledge and could counsel them correctly.
Yep.
And you had a realistic seller that knew they didn't have a perfect
Exactly.
house.
I think everything played in together, and they were just prepared and ready to jump when the right house popped up. And I think that as long as you are prepared for that and you have, you know, someone that you're working with that you trust, that can counsel you through something like this on both sides, listing and, you know, the seller agent or, you know, the buyer's agent.
Yep.
I think that is where the success came in. And I'm really, really glad that Josh and Sarah trusted me to lead that charge with them. or for them.
Yeah. What would you say it was that made that property the one?
I think it was
that's different for everybody, obviously.
It is different. I think in their case, like, it just was a standout. It, you know, definitely helped that day we saw a bunch of duds, like I said.
Well, they saw what's realistically in their price range.
And it is a beautiful home. You know, now that they're going to be able to put a little bit of love into the places it needs it the most, it's going to be even better.
It's going to be a great house.
I think for them too, just like amazing, huge yard was like, that's one of the things that they really wanted. They have 3 kids, 2 of them have fur. So they like the yard, you know, and their little not fur baby will also enjoy the yard when they're bigger.
Can you explain what a credit is real quick for those that may not know?
I was thinking if I should do that or not. So a seller credit is something that you can ask for in several different ways, but I'm just going to explain it in the way that with the inspection. So let's say you're getting an inspection done. The roof comes in as needing a lot of work, like more than maybe the seller thought initially before they put it on the market. And it's just going to be out of the buyer's price range. If they close, they're not going to be able to do it, yada, yada. Let's say that credit, once you got the roofer out there, comes out to be like, they'll need another $10,000. But the seller doesn't want to do the work.
Yep.
So the buyer says,
well, because a lot of times you have, you know,
they're
from
out
the
the
day
door.
you get your contract accepted, like your offer accepted, to the day that you close, it's anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks long.
It's not a lot of time to do all that stuff.
Yeah. It can be tough to get a roofer out there.
For the big projects, it's a big undertaking. And you also have to think of it, the seller, they are kind of done with the property. And just thinking about it from the buyer's angle, like, would you rather have somebody, as you're going into the house and you're putting everything into it and you're so excited and you want everything to be done really well, that if you get a credit towards something like an inspection issue, now, no, it's not, you're not getting a big check at the end for the $10,000, right? It's not like, here's a check for $10,000 to go towards that roofer. It goes towards your loan. And it all has to go through your lender and what type of loan you're getting. Not everybody could have gotten the $30,000 credit because of the amount of the down payment and the loan that my clients were getting. They were able to take that $30,000 credit because the lender approved that. They could get up to 6% of a seller credit. And that goes towards things like your closing costs. Or you can put it towards paying down your mortgage rate. Or it can get split between a few things, which is what they ended up having to do. They even had enough left over, they got a home warranty. Because there was like 500 something left. Anyway.
So the thing is, at the end of the day, you have to pay for your down payment and you have to pay for closing costs. So if you get a seller credit, you can then keep all the money or part of the money that you were going to use for closing costs. You keep that in your pocket. So it's like you're keeping that much cash in your pocket at the end of the day versus having to put it into the house.
Right.
Yes.
So then you can use those funds after you own the house to then repair whatever it is you need.
They're very helpful in so many ways. But yeah, I know some people get it in their heads. It's a big check coming to you at the end. It's not that. It all goes through the lender.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Joanna. I know that they were super happy, super cute. They just had a baby. Like, it was awesome to see that one.
So exciting. And just, that is a very unique and beautiful, like, old home that I know that they're going to take great care of. So it's very exciting.
Varun, let's talk about your story. So I know you have been doing a lot more on the investment side.
That's right.
Both personally and with clients. Recently, you just completed a flip on Queen Anne. How did that deal come together?
Yeah, so this was very interesting. So as a agent that works primarily with investors, one of the things I do every week is just scan through all the new properties that have come on the market. And this particular one caught my eye in Queen Anne. It was close to Queen Anne Avenue North, which is top of the hill. So if you are in Seattle, that's kind of a hot spot for coffee shops, restaurants, grocery stores. Schools are nearby there. So this was a great location. Everything was walkable. And the house itself needed a lot of work. Because this was, I think, first time on the market in like 40 or 50 plus years.
Wow.
So the family had owned it for a long time.
All original. No.
A lot of it was original.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Basement was partially unfinished. Part of the basement was being used as I think a hobby room or a shop, because there's like, I think, a bench in there. So again, a lot of things in the house that needed to be replaced or redone, reconfigured. So as I was trying to scan the market, this location caught my eye. It was priced just about right for numbers to work out. So for me, a couple of things I did was they already had a pre-inspection and a sewer scope done. Looked through that, made sure there are no major red flags.
Yeah.
Sewer scope was clean. Inspection pointed out the things that we already knew. And since we were going to do pretty much a studs out remodel, we just wanted to make sure there's nothing behind the walls, like mold or anything that we need to be prepared for. We can handle it. We just need to budget for it. And then the other caveat here was this was a house that was that had an offer review date. And I had done all of this due diligence the night before. Next day was offer review date, but I needed to see it physically.
Yep.
Because one of the biggest things that we talk about in our beers and home buying, pictures sometimes don't tell the full story.
Very true.
Pictures look like, it's an old house. The biggest part of this was, does the basement have sufficient height to even finish it?
Yep.
So next morning, first thing I do, 9 a.m., show up. I measure out the basement height, measure out walls that we want to take out. I already had a plan in mind of the layout that we want to go with. And so did a lot of the kind of thinking through part early on and before I got there. So I knew exactly what I was looking for. And on the flip, I usually have a partner on the deal. Had a video call with him, walked him through all the different kind of locations. Usually it is him walking the site and then putting a budget together and making a call on whether this would work as a flip or not. But because of the tight timeline, we had to do it on a video call. And I had already kind of sent him the inspection report. So we knew a little bit about the house, basement height checked out. And so after all the due diligence was done and knowing what the house offered in that location, we thought it would definitely work as a flip. I ended up writing the offer, assuming it would be competitive. You never know in these kind of homes.
Yep.
Talked to the agent a couple of times. She indicated she might have one or two other offers coming in. And so I did have an escalation clause in there. The agent ended up getting one other offer. So it was not as competitive. And the other offer didn't escalate too high. So I was able to get it at a decent price, lower than what I had budgeted for, which was always good.
Yeah.
And then we also got lucky on the back end where we just went under contract. We went under contract over what our original estimate was for the home, which always helps. So again, it was a lot of due diligence upfront and making sure you're crossing the T's and dotting the I's before you buy the home. And the biggest part here was location, right? I was 2 blocks from an elementary school, 6 blocks from the middle school, 5 or 6 blocks from a Trader Joe's, a Safeway, and like 10 or 15 restaurants on that Queen Anne Avenue North, like the main drag in Queen Anne. So it was a great spot for a family to be there. And that's why this deal really worked well, because I knew this, once we finish it with really good finishes and put out a good product and a good layout, we will be able to attract the right kind of buyers. And that's what ended up happening. We ended up with a competitive situation. We got 2 offers when we relisted the house, and were able to go pending a little above what we had originally thought our sale price would be.
Yeah.
So what made you think that this house was going to be something that would be a good opportunity for a flip?
A couple of different things. One, the house was kind of closed off, so the layout in its current state didn't work. It had a closed off kitchen. Living room was kind of not updated. There was old carpet. Part of the basement was unfinished. They had done some plumbing work at some point for, I'm guessing, fixing a downspout, but they needed to connect the downspout to the sewer line. And what they ended up doing was, I think, I don't know what to call it, but a solution where a pipe pretty much went
DIY
right.
solution?
Not a DIY. It looked like a plumber did it, but I think they went the cheapest route, which was go from a window on the east side of the house and take a pipe that runs right through the basement, and you can see it. It's at your like face height, and it's going right through the basement and connecting to the sewer line on the other side.
What?
Right? So that is not what you would expect, but that would also scare a end buyer.
Yeah.
Because I did find out the other offer that the agent originally got was also an investor. End buyers did not offer on that
Yeah, I
house.
was about to say,
It was 2 investors, me and one other person, offering on that house.
Yeah.
Because I think we both saw the same thing, is this requires a ton of work. The siding needed a full gut. The roof on a carport was completely gone. It was leaking already. There was no green patch, so we had to create green space on that lot by digging up some concrete and replacing that with sod. So there's a lot of things to do, but we had a vision in mind the moment we saw the house, and we could kind of at least imagine what this will be like.
Yeah.
And we had the space. That is what made it work. Is this was a big enough house. It just needed reconfiguring and finishing up a lot of the unfinished space. That's what made it work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a fun one to watch, kind of come together, and I mean, we all walked it, and that was fun during the process, and we gave tips on what we thought based on what end buyers would want to see, and it's fun.
Very helpful, and those tips were helpful. There was a lot of learnings for us. Did we put out a perfect product? Probably no, but that's the whole part of the process. Is you learn and you implement that in the next project.
Yeah. Okay, so my turn to finally share something. Let these guys talk so much. Gosh, can't get them to shut up.
Sleeping over there.
So annoying. Jeez.
All right, go.
So
I guess.
my people, their fake names are Bree and Kyle. I don't know why.
Sounds
but
great.
That's what Shannon wrote for me in the script that I'm reading off of. So their journey is interesting. So I helped them buy 7 or 8 years ago. It was their starter home. At the time, they didn't have any kids. They had just gotten married. They had a dog. In fact, as a closing gift, I gave them socks with their dog's face all over it.
Oh, that's cute.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's great.
And they had a white picket fence, and it was perfect for the dog to run around. And yeah, it was a great dog. They now have 2 kids, and that 2-bed, 1-bath house is too small. So they've been looking for a while. They don't have a huge budget, but they want to stay in the same neighborhood. So, and it's a pretty competitive neighborhood. So they're in kind of the Kenmore, Juanita, Bothell, kind of that area, North Kirkland, that area. So they wanted to stay around there. All the homes around there there's a lot of really nice homes that are very expensive. And they just couldn't afford that. So they decided that they were going to take on a house that was more of a cosmetic fixer and not a perfect house, because he has some construction background. Her mom actually renovated houses when she was little to make them livable for them to, be able to live in a cool house, a nice house. And so they had some help from the family here and there, and support as well, both financially but also mentally, which it takes sometimes. And we found an awesome house in Bothell. It was a block away from a school, 5 minutes away from where Kyle grew up, where his family was from.
That's cool.
There's a T-Rex in the garage.
Yeah, there was.
Like
a toy.
Sorry, it was
Yeah.
no, it was big, like a sculpture
Oh, wow.
in the garage.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to go see it.
Yeah, she got to go see it too. So their story was a little unique because it wasn't the standard, buy the starter home, move up to the next home, which is a lot bigger, and so forth. Their house right now that they currently own might be worth $800, and what they bought was $890. So it's not like they went up a huge amount in cost, but they are going to have to put some money into it. So the new house, it needs a new kitchen. The inspection that we had done said that it might need some plumbing work. Turned out it didn't really need any plumbing work.
That's
great.
great.
It was just the connections. They had galvanized steel elbows. That was it.
That was it.
Why
Wow.
they ever did that, but it was all copper, everything else.
Okay.
Weird.
Good for them.
Yeah, great for them. Needed some demo work. Like I had a really old hot tub that was just nasty.
Yeah.
A shed that was full of rodents.
So gross.
A pond that was just completely overgrown.
The parrot room.
Parrot room. It was funky. But it was all totally doable. And it wasn't anything that was so overwhelming. It wasn't a cheap enough deal for an investor to buy. It was going to be an end user that moved into it that was willing to take on some work. Turns out there were 11 other end users that made offers on this in addition to us. So 12 total offers. We escalated. They were asking $810 and we went up to $890. We were not the highest offer by $21,000.
Wow.
But because their offer was so strong, the buyers also went through the open house.
Right?
Terms is really what it was.
Yeah.
So their offer, they waived basically everything. They could do that with confidence, because they had already gotten fully pre-underwritten with their lender. This is all the things that we talk about in the Beers and Home Buying class.
Yeah.
beersandhomebuying.com. You should come. They're free. We do them one a month at least, other than December. Free home buyer class. You should come.
Yes. Do that.
So they followed the exact steps that we always outline, and they had done it once before. I reminded them what those were because it had been a few years. They remembered and they followed them to a T,
They got their
and it was
inspection
super
done.
super, super helpful. We did a pre-inspection before offers were due.
That's
so
Which I think some people are scared to do that, but in this case, it won them this property.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, spend the money if you really love it, know what's going on so you feel super confident moving forward. Like, instead of trying to hang your hat on, well, I'm going to try to still get that inspection through. If you have time, do your pre-inspection.
Do it.
Yeah.
It is a slight financial cost. It's, around $500-$600, give or
Like,
take.
they weren't guaranteed to get that house.
But that was the risk they were willing to take in order to get the house for $20,000. No, I think they got it for $880. Why do I keep thinking $890? They got it for $880. The appraisal came in at $890.
Oh, wow.
The
Okay.
appraisal came in high.
That's
Bingo.
awesome.
So they were actually $31,000 low on the price. And they came through the open house. They met the listing agent. They brought their little tiny cute kids along. That really helped. They wrote a sappy love letter to the seller. Who
Sometimes that works.
It was kind of an estate sale. He was the son of the stepdad that owned it, and kind of confusing, but still had some emotional ties to the house. Didn't really grow up there, but came there a lot or something. I don't totally understand.
There's always an emotional
But there were definitely some
piece.
emotions.
Yeah.
Always, yeah.
And they didn't want to sell to an investor. They wanted a family to be the one that moved in. And meeting the neighbors, so on the day that I gave them keys, we met the neighbors, or maybe it was when we were over there measuring stuff. Met the neighbors. they were super cool. They also had a lot of children in the neighborhood. There's a little cul-de-sac literally across the street, and all the kids play in that little tiny cul-de-sac.
Oh, that's nice.
There's a secret path down the road that goes to the elementary school, so you don't have to walk along the busy road.
That's great.
It was just a cool place. So again, they followed the steps to a T that we teach all of our clients, and it worked perfectly. And it had slight risk involved, but it was mitigated because they already knew that they could get the loan. They had the extra funds in cash available in case the appraisal came in low, which it actually ended up coming in high. So
We love that.
we love it. And they're walking into equity, which it's not like you can go to the grocery store and buy groceries with your equity, but still feels good to
Feels
have
good.
someone say that it's worth more than you paid. So, yeah, that was the story. Now the work begins of getting their house fixed up, their new house fixed up. I've given them a lot of recommendations for contractors for everything that they're doing. Hooked them up with some of the discounts that I have as an investor, which is always fun to be able to pass along.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're going to be able to get a new kitchen, some updated bathrooms, new flooring throughout, and they'll do a roof at some point. It's not a dire need, but at some point, probably in the next 5-6 years, they'll need a roof. So I have a roofer for them. So yeah, it's just, yeah. And then the demo work, I have a good junk hauler guy who also does some demo.
Nice.
So things are just rolling along. They got a good schedule. Once that's done, they're going to move in. And then in probably a month and a half-ish, we'll work on getting their current house that they're going to sell, getting that prepped and ready. So I'll give them advice on what little things they need to do to that, which is not much. General yard work, little touch-up things here and there. I think on their house, they had some backsplash where some tile was missing on one wall and it was not on the other wall. So I was like, you might as well just continue that around. It would make it more cohesive. Like little inexpensive things that they can do that do make a difference to the end user, to the buyer.
Yeah.
When the eye doesn't have a hiccup, it makes it a lot easier.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, at the end of the day, they are super happy and they're excited to get into a bigger place. This house has 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, plus a rec room, a living room, a dining room, and a kitchen.
Nice.
Yeah,
Amazing.
the
A
yard
kitchen.
is
Can you
huge.
believe it? There was a
There's
kitchen at the house.
Oh my god. What
Yeah.
are they going to do with the parrot room?
Scoop out the old poop and I don't know what.
I told them to use it if their kids were bad. They would have to go in there and just be like, you're in there for the next
You're
10
in
minutes. That's
parrot
time
jail.
out, right?
Yeah, parrot
Anyway.
jail. I love it. Cool. All right. So that is the success stories that we have. We have these all the time. If you're on our newsletter, email newsletter, we send out a client success story basically every single month. You should definitely, if you're not on it, reach out to us. Maybe just send us a DM on Instagram, Awesome Nossum Group, and we'll get you on that list. I think that's it for this month's or this week's call. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
No, that's it. Cool. All right. Well, if you found this helpful, if you want to come to our next Beers and Home Buying class, we do have them, like I said, every single month. They are free. It's an hour long. Then we stick around. We do some Q&A for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Generally, they're at bars, really cool bars that have delicious beer, or restaurants or something like that, breweries. And they're super laid back. There is no pressure at these. This is where the majority of people find us, is through this class. So even if all you want is a free beer, you should definitely come. You might actually learn something. Most people do learn a ton, and they, at the end, they're like, honestly, I just came for the free beer, and then I realized I could actually buy a house.
And depending on where, sometimes dogs and babies do come.
Yeah.
Just a heads up.
Yeah. So, and one of the reasons that we do these client success stories too and share them is because we want you to understand that there is, a journey that is involved with the home buying process.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not just go look at a house, make an offer, and move in. Like, there's a lot more that goes into it, especially with people that enjoy the process. There should be a process that happens leading up to it. Sometimes that journey is very short. Sometimes it takes years. And whatever their fake names, Bree and Kyle, I've literally talked with them for probably 1.5 to 2 years. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
And it's been a slow process, and that's totally fine. I do not care. We weren't pressuring them to do something. We went out and looked at something when it made sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like with their schedule, but also financially.
And we won't pressure.
No.
We just try to help you see in the place that you're wanting to tour the value that's there or maybe is not there. But we will talk you through all of the good and the bad. So, yeah. But it's always on your timeline.
Yep. And we generally will talk you out of a house and never talk you into a house.
Yeah.
So, we don't want you to buy something that doesn't make sense for you. And we work with really the full spectrum of people, from first-time home buyers to repeat buyers to home sellers to investors, developers, flippers, everyone. We got specialties in all of those things, and that's the fun part. So
we're waiting to write your success story.
Yeah, you can be the next one.
That, jeez.
I know.
You can be the next set of fake names on here.
Yeah, you could also be a fake name in a podcast.
The story is real, the names are fake.
Yeah, the story is totally real, 100%.
Yes.
I don't think we're good enough storytellers to make those up.
I don't know, maybe.
You might be, Joanna. I don't know. But I've seen the contract, so I know it's real.
Yeah.
I lived through the drama with you.
Yes,
so.
you sure did.
That's it for this episode. We hope you learned a lot. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe. It really does help. We have actually seen quite a big influx of new listeners. I started paying more attention to the stats. Last month we had 500 downloads, which
Sweet.
doesnsome sound like a ton for
We
some
love
people,
that.
but
We
for
love
us, we're like,
That's
that's
great.
cool.
Yeah.
We've only been doing this for 6 years at this point. Maybe we should have more than that. I don't know. But at least that's 500 people that are listening and learning and hopefully getting some out of it. So that's it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, thanks.
Bye.
Yeah.